Let's join Wayne Hay. He's in Ratchaturi, a pro-government stronghold in the capital. We'll get on to some figures in just a moment, if we may, Wayne. But remind our viewers, first of all, why protesters who want a new government were refusing to take part in an election.
Well, they basically, David, believe that the government is corrupt. They believe that it is guilty of buying votes, and that is the only reason that this government, led by the Puea Thai Party and the Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra, is so popular. It's been so popular for years. Parties that are involved with the former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra, who was ousted in the coup, that is Yingluck's brother, have won every election since 2001. So they're a hugely popular party. But like I say, those who have taken to the streets of Bangkok trying to force this government out over the past 3 months believe that the only reason that is because they're corrupt, they buy votes, and that they want that Shinawatra family gone from Thai politics for good.
When you look at the figures just released by the Election Commission, it shows that around about 10,000 polling stations were unable to open. We're talking about 90% operating normally. Will boycotting the vote have made any difference to those who want the Shinawatra family out of politics forever?
Well, we're heading into such an unknown period really now, David. Those figures have just come out from the Election Commission, as you say, 89–90% of those polling stations able to operate fairly normally. It is also said that by-elections now will take place on February 23rd, and we won't know any of the election results until then. So we're in a completely unknown period now. We're expecting something from the largest opposition party, the Democrats, which is a party that's very much behind the anti-government protesters, to make some sort of statements in the next few hours. Now, that could be significant because of any legal proceedings that we may have going forward. There is a real chance here that somebody, perhaps the Democrat Party, perhaps other opposition groups, will lobby the Constitution Court to say that this election was unconstitutional, it should not have happened, and therefore we should scrap the idea altogether. And it's important to remind people what these anti-government protesters have been trying to put in place over the past 3 months is some sort of unelected People's Council to run the country for at least another year before we can have another election, and it's unlikely that they are going to rest, even though we've had a vote today, until they've achieved that goal.
On a number of occasions in the last decade, Wayne, I know you've reported it, the army has become involved in Thai politics. Is there any sense that it is becoming at all restive in this period of political turmoil?
Not really so far. I think over the past 2.5 years that this party, Puea Thai, led by Yingluck Shinawatra, has been in power, there has been a very careful balancing act going on here between the government, the Shinawatra family, because after all, Thaksin Shinawatra, the former Prime Minister, is still very much involved, some say even running the government still from his base in Dubai. And it seems like they've been treading very carefully, trying to keep the powerful military on their side. After all, these are the same soldiers, the top brass, that forced Thaksin Shinawatra from office back in 2006. So at the moment, no, the army has been very careful to say that it is not taking sides. It has made it clear that since we saw so much bloodshed during anti-government protests back in 2010, that the army has learnt that there perhaps were mistakes made back in 2010, has learnt that the international community no longer really accepts military coups, because after all, Thailand has seen so many military interventions over the years. We saw the head of the army, General Prayut Chan-o-cha, casting his vote today. Of course, we don't know how he voted. So not at this stage, but of course the government is still very wary, very careful that it should not push too hard, that it should not upset the army, which, as I say, is a very powerful political force in Thailand.
Very good to hear from you. That's Wayne Hay in Bangkok for us.